What's going on, guys? It's Hayden, and I'm bringing you the semifinals recap for the Magma division. I have two battles for you today. One is the longest battle of the ISL this season of either division that had a Mon stay on the field for 18 straight turns. And then the other one is one of the shortest for the Magma division. So, with that, let's go ahead and jump into this first battle. And starting off, we have the Denver Dracos as the 1 seed, taking on the Logan Lopunny as the 4 seed. And we are starting off with their Megas. Mega Swampert, the MVP of the Aqua Division for the Denver Dracos at 18-3. And then the MVP runner-up, Mega Lopunny of the Logan Lopunnies, who went 14-4. And next up, we have Politoed of the Denver Dracos in this water type matchup, who went 2-4 on the season, going up against Rotom Wash, who went 2-3 on the season for the Logan Lopunny. And then next up, we have the grass matchup, who we have the Flinch King and Shaman Sky of the Dracos, who went 5-2 on the season, going against the Contrary Superior of the Logan Lopunny, who went 1-4. And up next is our Steel matchup, where we have Aegislash of the Dracos, who went 3-2 on the season, taking on Jirachi of the Logan Lopunny, who went 1-4 on the season, but already has 2 knockouts so far in these playoffs. And then we have our utility matchup against Wobbuffet of the Denver Dracos, who went 0-1 on the season, only 1 appearance, going up against Tentacruel of the Logan Lopunny, who went 4-2. And then finally, we have a crazy matchup to end before we get into the battle. Landorus of the Denver Dracos, who went 2-2 on the season, going it up against the Mon, who finished 3rd in MVP voting, Salamence of the Logan Lopunny, who went 13-4 and already has 2 knockouts in the playoffs. And let's jump into this battle. And with that, the Denver Dracos punched their ticket into the championship battle with this 3-0 win over the Logan Lopunny. Aegislash was able to stay out front for 18 straight turns to start the battle, and then Politoad was able to just clean it up in the end after Wobbuffet's Encore into Jirachi's Stealth Rocks. As for the knockouts, Aegislash and Shaman Sky both picked up 2, with Wobbuffet and Politoad finishing off the battle with 1 apiece. Then on the Lopunny side, Rotomwash, Jirachi, and Tentacruel all picked up 1 knockout apiece. And up next we have the Toronto Tyrantrums facing off against Multiscale. This is a rematch of our final week of the season. An opening matchup, we have Greninja, who went 12-4 on the season and already has 2 playoff knockouts, taking on Tornadus T, who went 4-2 for Multiscale. Up next, we have our electric matchup with Magma of the Tyrantrums, who went 2-2 on the season, taking on Thunderous T of Multiscale, who went 4-2 on the season and has 1 playoff knockout. Up next is our ground matchup with Garchomp of the Toronto Tyrantrums, who went 4-5 on the season and has 1 playoff knockout, taking on Landorus Therian of Multiscale, who went 2-5. That brings us to our water matchup for this battle with Feraligatr of the Tyrantrums, who went 7-5 on the season and already has 1 playoff knockout, going up against Mega Blastoise of Multiscale, who went 8-5 on the season and already has a league-tying 4 playoff knockouts. Up next is our fire matchup between Victini of the Tyrantrums, who went 6-3 on the season with 1 playoff knockout already, taking on Infernape, who went an incredible 9-2 on the season for Multiscale. And finally, we have Roserade of the Tyrantrums, who went 2-1 on the season, taking on Metagross, who went an electric 11-5 on the season for Multiscale and already has 1 playoff knockout. So let's go ahead and jump into this battle. And with that, the Toronto Tyrantrums win 3-0 over Multiscale and booked a rematch with the Denver Dracos in the championship battle. If you remember, the Tyrantrums were the only team to beat the Dracos in the regular season, so this should be interesting to say the least. And as for knockouts, for the Tyrantrums, Victini picked up 4, all coming at the end, kind of sweeping it up, with Greninja and Mega Manectric both picking up 1 apiece. And then for Multiscale, Thunderous Therian, Landorus Therian, and Mega Blastoise all picked up 1 apiece. And that is going to wrap up the Magma Division semifinals. And like I said earlier, This sets up a Denver Dracos versus Toronto Tyrantrums rematch in the championship battle. Let me know in the comments section down below who you have winning this. And as always, thanks for watching.